What's going on, you guys? Chopper 200 here with another ban list prediction. So the KC Cup Stage 2 just ended. I'm ready to give y'all my prediction. I know a few of y'all on Twitch has been waiting for this. So it's time to visualize my thoughts. And we have it's a little bit different than the last predictions because I don't think, as y'all can see, the obvious skills to be hit aren't as obvious. I don't think they're going to hit a skill. My prediction, most likely, is they won't hit a skill this ban list again. I think cards are the main focus of this next ban list, just like the last ban list. I think there was rarely any skills that got hit, if any, if I can remember correctly. But let's get into it. Let's get into the main focus cards that would need to get hit, that I think will get hit in this next ban list. Let's get into it. Head judging. Banned. Konami needs to ban this card. The reason why they need to ban head judging is because Desperado. It's being played with Desperado being a top tier deck. It is being played too much. It is winning games single-handedly. It is not a fair card to go against. It shouldn't be allowed to be played like this. It's a free-to-play card. I think they should just get rid of it. I think it was a mistake bringing it into the game. I don't think it's fair to be losing the head judging over a coin flip. I think you need to get away from this whole coin flip dynamic. Like, we already have Master of Destiny to give you 3 free coins. You shouldn't be allowing more coin flip wins in Desperado. Take that card out. I think it's too toxic, too RNG. Like, you're winning way too much on RNG on a coin flip because its effect is so powerful. It stays on the field, and you sit there, you get unlucky on the coin flip, and you just automatically lose. That is unfair, unbalanced. Konami, just get rid of the card. Not semi-limit, get rid of it. On to the next one. Cup of Ace. This card's been in the game for a long time. It's also another free-to-play card in the game. I said this card should have been hit last balance. Last time I said it was the 2, but now I think Konami should just hit it. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. It's a free-to-play card. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't ban it. Cup of Ace is only played in Desperado. Mainly, like, in actual decks that people actually play. It's played in Desperado. It's the reason why people play Desperado. Get rid of this card. It's not needed in the game anymore. Tired of it being hit with bastards. Like, they don't even have to hit the skill. Get rid of this card. Get rid of it, just like head judging. No more Desperado. I mean, they're going to play Desperado, but what are they going to do? They can't plus anymore. Get rid of that plus factor of Desperado so they don't have to sit there and win via Cup of Ace or head judging. Those 2 cards there's seriously something wrong with them in that deck. Get rid of it because it's degenerate. It's not fair to the opponent. I know they were handled pretty well in the KC Cup, but on the ladder play, it's pretty annoying to deal with. It's not fun to go up against them plussing and keeping you from playing the game. Get rid of that plussing in Desperado. They don't have to do anything else. But yeah, head judging, Cup of Ace. Get rid of them both. Next card. Until Noble Arms are needed once again. So I got 2 cards. So with Noble Knights, I think they're gonna hit them by just hitting one of the 2 cards. So either Boars or Noble Arms are needed once again. So I don't think they're going to hit both, but I put them both up in here because these are probably the most likely cards that Konami's going to nerf if they go for a slight tap on the Noble Knight deck. And they were doing well in the KC Cup. If they're going to be on Konami's radar, I think they're going to do something Noble Knights, at least give them a light hit. And it's going to be one of these cards. Most likely, I think it's going to be the Trap, because the Trap is what's winning the games for them. The Trap is what wins the games for them. Really busted. It combos well with cards like Karma Cut, Raigeki Break, O2 Prov, you name it. As well as you have like 2 of them in the graveyard, you could just bust out an easy XYZ just off the trap cards alone. It's pretty busted. Putting that card to 2 at least reduce them from running semi-limits in the deck, so you don't have to worry about True Nade. Nobody's running True Nade anymore, and I think that's going to be the light hit. It's just so they can't run semi-limits anymore. Or they run a semi-limit and 1 trap, where then they're just going to sit there and kind of do their thing. But it's a lot less likely they're going to be able to be very combo heavy, especially against more powerful decks where they get past that 1 trap, then you're home free. But hitting this card to 2, not allowing it to play that 3 anymore is also big, because now they can't sit there and spam 3 traps in the graveyard, which actually is pretty busted once they get it on first turn. I've seen it happen. They are just untouchable at times. So I think that getting rid of that trap abuse is what will make them a lot easier to handle, so they can't just go all the way off on you. Boars is a little bit even less of a hit, because boars, you can still have 2 boars in the deck. I think the only thing that'll happen when they hit boars is you still get to play 3 of the trap, which, like I said, it wouldn't really change the deck much. The only difference would be you can't run semi-limits. You're going to play 2 boars. People are going to play 2 boars. You don't run any semi-limits. But yeah, I think the boars probably would be their thought process. If they just hit the boards and just, we're just going to hit Nova Knights, so they can't run any semi-limits. They're going to have to work for their win a little bit. They can't True Nade in their 2K, which it's in some decks, but I think the bigger problem is the trap. I think the trap's going to be, I think they're going to go for it if they go for Nova Knights. Thunder Dragons now. I think they're going to go for Lupine. Lupine, because they're going to have to make it to where it's either you Lupine, Gold Sark, or Charge. So it makes, because Legionnaire is so powerful in this meta, it's no joke. You get a Legionnaire out, your chances of winning are just high. They're very high. And the fact that you could do that, and then Lupine itself could OTK now too because of M7. Yeah, it's a big deal. Lupine has become a big deal for Thunder Dragons. So I think they're going to have to reduce the play starters in their Thunder Dragon deck just to make them less consistent. So now you have to pick that, like I was saying earlier, you have to pick between Lupine, Gold Sark, or Charge the Light Brigade now. So it resets them to being how they were when they got nerfed, when they hit like Dark to 3 and things like that. So I think a Lupine would be really getting hit with Thunder Dragons, because the deck was just too fast, too powerful. I know Thunder Dragons were becoming more of an XYZ deck, but I think it does kind of deteriorate. Too many getting hit by Legionnaire too much, but it still allows people to play Thunder Dragons. I think they're going to go back to a Lifestorm build anyway, more of a mill Legionnaire type version anyway. But I think that's going to be the way, or they just go to Gold Sark instead of a Lupine. I don't know, but I think Lupine's definitely hot on getting hit in this damn list. Now let's talk about Blue Eyes. Now Blue Eyes, I am really concerned, but it's not going to be in my curveballs. The reason why I say this is Blue Eyes is going to take at least 2 ban lists to see a noticeable slowdown in play. And what I mean by that is, this is going to be at least a good start to hitting the deck. White Stony Ancients and Sage to 3. You're going to need both of these cards to 3 tuner maximum. The deck could run 6 of these with cards of constants, which makes them even, their draw consistency is even more consistent than Desperado. So we need to reduce the tuners. Have to reduce the tuners in this deck. So you could have to play like White Stone to 1, Sage to 2, because they have alternative and Melody. I think this will definitely reduce the Blue Eyes consistency. I don't see any other way they would hit this deck other than reduce the tuners, because you have to reduce the tuners. If you don't reduce the tuners, then all they're going to do is just going to sit there and be just as consistent as they were before. It's the tuners that are the problem right now. Sage has been out for a while. It hasn't been in the structure deck. Hitting a card that's been in the old box like Sage is actually going to be useful for Konami to still sell this dang Blue Eye structure deck. White Stone Ancients to 3, so people probably just go to 3 Stone Ancients and 3 cards of constants. Who needs Sage to add? So I think hitting Sage and White Stone to 3 will reduce the deck's consistency a bit. They'll probably go to, well, I don't want to explain until the ban list comes out, but this will definitely help reduce consistency. I know there's another tuner that searches Blue Eyes when sent to the graveyard. I think people would jump to that, but that's better. It's better to search the Blue Eyes in the hand rather than special summon it during the end phase, or special summon it on your turn with Sage in hand. I think that's 10 times. I think that's 10 times better. At least gives you a chance to come back and win. And you know, if they just set, if they just set up on the back row, then let them get tunated and lose. I would rather that than them just sitting there beating you by just, you know, you can't tell what they're gonna do. They're gonna draw and they're gonna go all the way off on you with a whole bunch of resources and hard to break field every time due to the tuners. It's all due to the tuners. If you pay attention to Blue Eyes, it's the tuners that need to get hit for this deck to lose some consistency and power. Because right now, Blue Eyes, I think the structure deck was a mistake. They shouldn't have made Blue Eyes this relevant. It's competing too hard with new decks. They should have done it. Now it really needs nerf. But since they released the structure deck down there in January last month, it's a problem. I think it's a problem. I think, you know, I don't know if Konami's going to hit this ban list or not. I hope so, because they shouldn't. Blue Eyes needs to get up. They need to get nerfed. They really need to get nerfed. They're way too consistent. It makes them really hard fields. It wasn't that explosive during the Case Cup Stage 2. I was hoping they would be, so Konami would notice. But they did see a lot of ladder play, so I'm pretty sure they are noticed. They do see a lot of ladder play. Konami does check that. So that was my explanation for predictions on the ban list for Blue Eyes. Last card, and I brought this back from the last ban list. Cybernetic Fusion Support. Konami, listen, open your ears. Get rid of this card's unlimited mark. Put it to 2. Stop. It's so annoying when now, like, Cyber Dragons don't see like a good amount of ladder play, but they didn't see anywhere close to as much ladder play compared to the KC Cup Stage 2. They were everywhere Stage 2 because of the whole Cybernetic Fusion support and the trap card. It's just like 2-card or 2-card combo with the Fusion Gate. And it's not fair for, like, you get sacked. It's 10k on board with just Fusion Gate and Cybernetic Fusion support. It gets past a lot of stuff. Once they draw into it, it's really hard to beat. Most people lose to it. That's why people are climbing so well with Cyber Dragons. Konami, stop screwing this up. Hit this card. That's all you gotta do is put this card to 2 or ban it. 2 or ban. I think it's gonna be either one of those, and we're good. Cyber Dragons don't need any more nerfs, but they have to hit this card. They have to hit this card. They can't dodge it this time. They really can't dodge it this time. Cyber Dragons need to get checked on this card. Card is breaking the deck way too much, and it's been under the radar too much. But it's the last on the list because I think it's the least likely to get hit out of all the cards that are described here. But Konami really needs to hit Cyber Dragons. I'm tired of them not letting, them letting this card go. This card is too degenerate with Fusion Gate. This card should have been hit. I said it last ban list, need to hit this card. It's back on the prediction list as Konami shouldn't miss it this time. They really shouldn't. But on to Konami Curveballs. So as y'all can see, I didn't have skills to begin with this time because I think they're, like I said before, Konami isn't really going to hit the skills. I think Konami, I think this is going to be one where they might hit a skill, they might not. The main focus, I think, for this ban list is going to be cards again. I don't think they're really going to look at skills because most of the skills are already good. But Konami can surprise us, and like as the decks we described earlier, that these are probably 2 of the most played skills in Stage 2, including balance, but I doubt they're not gonna hit balance. Balance is fine. Master of Destiny. So I know a lot of you've been talking about Master of Destiny needing it to get another nerf. Now, it's in the curveballs because Konami could listen, or this could be like, we know Konami, sometimes they're random, and they make dumb moves. I'm calling Master of Destiny as a dumb move by Konami, I think, if they do it. But it's definitely possible that they'll just hit Master of Destiny again. So, pretty much Master of Destiny, you get 3 guaranteed coin tosses. Well, you have 7 or more cards with different names that require coin tosses. So, I'm thinking, knowing how Konami is, I know some people were talking about Arcana, maybe just only Arcana cards you could activate it, stuff like that. I just like they might just add it to 9, knowing them. I think what they're gonna do is they're probably just gonna increase the cap limit, like 9 or more cards of different names. So it's like almost half your deck has to be like one of each coin toss cards to make it hard to just make your deck consistent more. So it will try to take away the consistency of Master of Destiny. Because, you know, who knows? They may not want to kill the skill. They may want to if they go the Arcana route. Because the Arcana route would kill the skill, which I'm in total agreement with. But, I mean, they could kill Desperado with just Master of Destiny by just hit this. But I don't think it'd totally be dead. I mean, it could be, but I don't know. I still think they should still hit ban, cover base, and head judging, just because it's, like I said, if we're just going to be going out of their way trying to use that card with other decks. I mean, they could just hit Master of Destiny and might solve all their problems. Who knows? Who knows, man? There's so many ways they could tackle Desperado right now. But yeah, I mean, hey, if they make it to where the skill's pretty much unusable, then Desperado might die from just a skill hit. But yeah, I think it's a curveball to the fact that they can go either way on this. But like I said, I doubt they're going to hit the skill. I think they're going to go for the cards on this ban list. On the Automata Pia. So Automats have gotten a lot more powerful with the last 2 boxes. I am so glad, dude. Automats are finally here and they are top tier. Automat's another skill. I don't think they're gonna hit the skill this ban list. I really don't. Automats just became relevant. They honestly just became relevant. I've seen people come in and out with Automats, like they've actually had a hot streak of people playing them on the ladder, but they have just became more relevant recently. I do not see them hitting the skill. But I put it on here because I think, you know, who knows, Konami might hit this thing preemptively. They really might hit this thing preemptively. It depends on what they saw in the stage 2 results. And they think it was just way too overpowered with the new support we have. It really, like I said, this is up in the air. No one knows. But it could happen. It's a 50-50. There's some cards I think is like a 90-10, 80-20, 70-30. A very high chance they're going to hit these cards. But when it comes to curveballs, it's 50-50 or below. And Automatopoeia it's like, I'm pretty sure Konami realizes that it's a powerful skill that's going to have to be nerfed at some point. The question is when, and it's always been when since the skill was released, but now since it's relevant, I will put it in the curveballs, maybe next ban list. If they don't hit it, I will move it up a level to the actual cards I could definitely have a higher chance of predicting. But for right now, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna hit it this ban list. I really don't. Like I said, they're actually fairly new deck pretty much because Konami's trying to put out XYZ support. They're trying to make XYZ meta. Automats actually contribute to that very well. You know, new box releases, Automats contribute to that. It allows people to go into these boxes more because Automats is a very, very versatile deck. So it's definitely a deck that Konami, I'm pretty sure, wants to keep alive for some time. Kind of like Noble Knights, because people have been investing a lot in the Noble Knights. So like this XYZ meta really does need to come. We really do need a more XYZ meta. And it's almost here. It's almost here. But they have to get rid of these non-XYZ decks. They really do. But here's the change. So instead of 2, I had it to return to 1. This is what I think they might do, just because, I mean, they could add delay. Who knows how they're going to change this, but You know, they can add a delay on it. Maybe you could only activate it on your second turn. You know, add a delay on it so you can't just use it on your first turn and set up the complete crazy board. But I think just return one card. You know, there's so many duels I could have lost if I didn't even have access to return two cards with a different name compared to one. Like one, you know, you could draw a bad hand and returning one won't get you anywhere. You know, let's say you draw a complete brick. Like you could literally put yourself into, you have to sit there and keep top decking, and you won't have that good of a field position. You know, set your opponent up to where even on a good hand, all you can do is Photon Strike Bouncer on your first turn and then end. There's a lot of decks that can OTK past that though. So that's definitely something to think about. Returning one to Baba Ba Gaga or go to Dodo card with different names from your hand to your deck and add one. That will definitely change how people construct their decks. People can't just add anything into their deck and I can return two and just complete and just have a god hand. I think it will definitely reduce the consistency of the skill and of the deck. Sorry, it will definitely reduce the consistency of the deck, and it won't be and it doesn't guarantee you these combos pretty much, because I don't want to be as literally just as consistent as Double Knights right now, so it's dang near 100% consistency rate. So I don't want to definitely will be a problem in the future if we keep getting better support for this deck. Yeah, I definitely see him doing something like this more likely though, just to reduce consistency, because the problem with the skill right now is it's making the deck consistent, and as we get more support, yeah, and they need to reduce the consistency, and that's the goal. On to the next one. Alright, so we have two cards here, guys. See, it's a short list. I've been kind of going on and on just because I want to get a little bit more details, so we do have a short list, but Cards of Constance 2-3. Yes, Cards of Constance is back from the last prediction. So it didn't move from Konami Curveballs. It did not move. The reason behind this is I think the more important cards to hit right now are the tuners, Whitestone and Sage. Those two are probably more important. I know Cards of Constance is up there because it just keeps plussing. And I do it, and when I was talking about that last time, that Blue Eyes was winning with way too much with the Cards of Consonance. But like I was saying earlier, it's gonna take two banlists to really give you take Blue Eyes like off the ladder, kind of like they did Dark Magician. They're gonna to get them treated like how Dark Magician is. You barely see them in Invokes. What they're gonna have to do is it's gonna take two banlists. Unless they hit all three of them, I think it's gonna take two banlists. And Konami Curveball, they could hit three of them, or they could mix and mash it with Whitestone and Cards of Constance, Sage or Cards of Constance. I don't know, but I think the low priority of the three cards will be Cards of Constance. I think the higher priority is the Sage, mainly because it's in a box, not in the structure. And I know Konami trying to sell the structure with Whitestone. And Whitestone for the balancing issue, because I think 3 Whitestone right now with Sage, with 3 Sage is just... no, get rid of that, Konami. Get rid of that. Slow down that deck's consistently. It's been in for the game. Those two cards have been in the game for a while. They need to slow it down. Cards of Consonance, they could get rid of it. It is in a structure deck, so like I said, it's gonna be a combination. But yeah, I'm still worried about them hitting Blue Eyes, but it's gonna be pretty interesting to see if they hit Blue Eyes as next banlist. Next up is Desperado Barrel Dragon at 2. This was an interesting one. I know some of y'all in the comments saying, oh, but he's a UR in a structure deck. They're never going to hit this card, especially the 2, maybe the 3. To tell you guys the truth, I was sitting here pondering about this. I thought that I had the same thought in my head. But then and there's one crucial detail I missed, and this was Gold Sarcophagus. We were talking about Thunder Dragons earlier, and I was talking about Gold Sarcophagus being at 2. But wait, isn't Gold Sarcophagus? Yeah, it is. It's in the structure deck, and it's not limited to 3. What is it limited to? 2. That sets a precedent. So if they could do that to Gold Strike, which is also an destruction deck, and the UR, they could definitely do it to Desperado. And that's another way they can hit Desperado. Desperado 2 and maybe another card 2. Like Cup of Ace. Maybe Pharaoh and Cup of Ace. Bam! There you go. They can't sit there. You know, they're going to probably play double Desperado. And they're probably going to play double Desperado. And they're going to play, double Desperado. They're going to play, or double Cup of Ace. Cup of Ace has been played in different types of decks too, not just Desperado anymore. So at least that wouldn't be as big a deal as worrying about Desperado coming out with Super Team, and they're probably still running Misjudge, but that's, you know, they use the skill more as an engine for certain decks. But, you know, that's another way Konami could go about this. Maybe they just want to weaken the Desperado playing with Master Destiny, and then let it be used unintentionally. But like I said, I doubt it, because I don't think Konami wants Master Destiny to use. I think many do want it to use for Desperado, to tell you the truth. So I think this would be a route that they at least take, but it's definitely something that can happen. You know, like I said, Konami's random. Sometimes they really don't pay attention. They really don't pay attention to the balance of what would actually balance this game out, and they could do dumb moves like put Desperado 2 and like head judging the team. They will actually, like, it's literally in a real possibility with seeing some of the patterns that they've done with certain hits. Mainly speaking of invokes. Now, I'm sorry to say, invokes, like the way they retreat invokes were just like excuse hits after excuse hits after excuse hits, trying to allow people to keep buying Alistair and still having them play the deck even though they had the same power level. And they could do that with Desperado as well. And Blue Eyes as well, which I definitely fear. I hope they hit Blue Eyes. Hope they need to hit 2 cards in Blue Eyes. They need to hit it correctly. They need to reduce the deck's consistency. Same with Desperado. But yeah, we presented 3 ways to hit Desperado. So, and we already know Desperado's going to get hit on this ban list. We definitely know. But how they're going to hit it is the question. Most likely, they're just going to ban these degenerate cards like Cup of Ace, head judging, get that stuff out of there, or they're gonna add a very big semi-limit like Desperado, or they hit Master Destiny as well, and they can just completely annihilate Desperado, which I definitely think, because Desperado is a degenerate deck, and we could all agree to that. Desperado's definitely degenerate. I can't wait for this ban list. Bye bye Despa. But yeah, that is it. Also, I want to mention, guys, what do y'all think of, like, I really think they need to go back and buff my monster cards. My monster cards, I mean, I think they need to rebuff Restart as well, because they could have, if we had the pre-nerf Restart, like the last revision of the Restart before that last nerf, with the same ban, like with the same limited character cards still wouldn't be relevant. Like, I think when they hit Restart, I think they did it preemptively. I think they should have worried more about the cards. This Konami does do this a lot. They focus more on the skill when the skill isn't that big of a factor compared to the cards. When the cards are a big factor, and vice versa. Like, sometimes Konami working backwards like that. But I definitely think we need restarts. We need more viable skills in the game for different varieties of decks. You know, we have too many decks, like archetype-specific skills, and not enough generic skills for when people want to try out different decks. You know, we got like what? Actual useful skills like what? Balance. Endless Trap Hell for certain decks, but, you know, that's about it. That's really about it. Some people play Life Point Boost A randomly. But mainly like deck generic skills that could work to make a lot more decks work, like my monster cards. I think they need to buff my monster cards to 5 monster cards, because 6 is just too much. Many archetypes in the game, especially the new ones, at max have 5 monsters, and that's it. You know, you can't like, they're trying to have you shovel a bunch of randomness into your deck that makes the deck brick, and it hurts the consistency, and you're not even guaranteed a monster in your starting hand. You're not even guaranteed one. So the problem really is that we really need Konami, you need to buff my monster cards to just 5 monsters to use the skill. There's no reason that it should stay at 6. Keep the RNG to where it's not a monster, guaranteed a monster, but it needs to go back to 5. Needs to be added to the pool of skills people could use to add to certain decks to make them viable. Tired of like we're running out of good, useful skills. That's why Noble Knights are doing very well, because balance makes them way more consistent to most of the decks in game. Automatic PM makes them more consistent than most of the decks in the game. It's not fair that people have to sit there and get way more, like they have to sit there and play things like Life Point Boost A, freaking, I don't know, I just like, there's nothing else you can really use. There's really no other skill you can really use. So we need more skills that have consistency. They give us the, like, it's funny how they nerf Trap Player, my monster cards, and Spell Specialist, and they give us skills like Automatopoeia and freaking, and then we have balance with Noble Knights giving them 100% consistency. I'm pretty sure they're gonna work on the Noble Knight with the 100% consistency balance, but this, like, we need more skills that help people deck build when we get new decks out there, and I think that hurts. But you know, that's my 2 cents on that. Restart, I think it should go back to where it doesn't have a really high trap spell card ceiling. Karakuri's, I don't think needs to be worried about anymore anyway. I don't think you're going to worry about Karakuri anymore anyway. I think Restart would be useful adding to that pool of skills that you use for certain decks. It's real, like, so like we need things like that. Like Spell Specialist can stay the way it is. Trap Player probably should be unnerfed. Like, I don't know why they hit Trap Player. You know, I mean, give it the same RNG, but the same thing. You know, make it to where people could be able to play those skills with more decks. Like, it's the fact that there's not a really good pool of archetypes you can play with those skills, because those skills have a hefty requirement, and that's not fair to the base that they sit there and beat people like that. And then they make and like I said, they make certain decks just completely reign supreme over them. I've seen it happen when I climb on the ladder a lot. It's frustrating, makes you not want to play the game. People don't want to deal with that. People want to actually play good, consistent decks, because it allows them to play the game, have a back and forth, enjoy it. If you don't have things that help them do that, then they get discouraged because they get tired of playing the same stuff over and over and over again. Like, oh, okay, I can't win, so I have to go resolve the Blue Eyes, or Desperado, or Noble Knights, and Thunder Dragons. It's, you know, people don't want to keep playing those same decks. And D-Drop. You know, D-Drop is another generic, but like I said, why do I have to play D-Draw if I can't play it with any other skill? I think we need other skills to be able to play different decks. But yeah, that was my prediction list, guys, and my 2 cents on 2 skills I think would be. I'd hope to see a buff. I doubt it, but you know, that's what I think on the situation. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hit y'all up on the next one. Chapter 200. Signing out.